Good evening, everyone. We apologize for our tardiness. I'd like to call this regularly scheduled board meeting to order at 7:13 p.m. If I could have you, please let the record reflect that all school board members are present this evening. If I could have you all, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I will now read out the report of action that was taken in closed session this evening. We are pleased to announce, with a motion by Mrs. Merkley, seconded by Mrs. Garcia, with a vote of 5 yea and 0 nay, that the Board of Education in closed session has appointed Mrs. Katie Green to be the principal of Lefetre Elementary School. The appointment will be effective August 1st, 2023, and she will be placed on Step 1 of the Certificated Management Salary Schedule. Congratulations to Mrs. Green. Next, we are pleased to announce, with a motion by Mrs. Garcia, seconded by Mr. Clifford, with a vote of 5 yea and 0 nay, that the Board of Education in closed session has appointed Mr. Anthony Parada to be the Chief of Facilities, Maintenance, and Operations. The appointment will be effective August 15th, 2023, and he will be placed on Step 3 of the Classified Management Salary Schedule. Congratulations to Mr. Parada. Both Mrs. Green and Mr. Parada will be joining us at the August board meeting to introduce themselves to our community. That is everything from closed session this evening. May I please have a motion to adopt the agenda? It was moved by Mrs. Merkley and seconded by Mr. Clifford. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted as presented. Welcome. We're happy to have you all here with us this evening. We're going to move on right along to public comment. Speakers may address the Board of Education on non-agenda and agenda items. Board policy requires that public presentations to the board comply with the procedures of the agenda. I won't go on and on about the procedures, but I will ask, it seems that as I flip through these comment cards right here, that we have a majority of comments on the same topic. The board policy states that we can limit topics to be a total of 20 minutes long. We as a board have agreed this evening that we will not limit the time on any topic this evening, but we do respectfully request that when the buzzer goes off at 3 minutes, you end your statement. Okay? So I will say who is coming and then who is on deck, for lack of a better description, to facilitate the facilitate time. So the first person that will be speaking this evening is Alexandra Stetler with Victor Gonzalez on deck, please.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Board, President Reuter, and Board Trustees. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Alexandra Stetler. Hi. And this is Victor Gonzalez. We both have children in elementary school in the Glendora district, and I graduated from GHS. Go Tartans. Our purpose tonight is to present the salient points of a parental notification policy that we respectfully request you to agendize. We feel strongly that adopting this parental notification policy will provide clear evidence of the transparency promised during last school board election. We cannot understate the positive impact we believe this proposed policy will have on the community, the district, school staff, and most importantly, the students. So here goes. This parental notification policy requires that parents be notified in writing when a district employee becomes aware that a student requests to be identified or treated as a gender other than the student's biological sex or gender listed on the student's birth certificate. When a district employee becomes aware that a student is accessing sex-segregated school programs or using bathroom or changing facilities that do not align with the student's biological sex listed on their birth certificate. When a district employee becomes aware that a student requests to change official or unofficial school records, district and school personnel shall notify the parents of the student as soon as reasonably possible that the student has experienced any significant physical injury while on school property or participating in a school-sponsored activity, met with school personnel in the wellness room, been the subject of disciplinary action, its cause, and what the resolution plan, if any, has been agreed upon. All district employees shall take every student's statement regarding self-harm or harm to others seriously. When a suicide attempt or threat is known, the principal or designee shall ensure student safety by taking the following actions. 1, immediately secure medical treatment and/or mental health services as necessary. 2, notify the parents while keeping the student under constant supervision. 3, document the incident in writing in accordance with the district policy. 4, have employees act only within the authorized scope of their credential or license. With respect to bullying, all parents of the parties involved must be notified of the incident within 3 days of its occurrence. Whether the bullying is discriminatory or not, it shall be investigated and resolved in accordance with the law and the district's uniform complaint procedures. Thank you.
Mr. Gonzalez, and then
Yes.
Mr. Barron is up next. I'm sorry, just trying to keep it flowing.
That's fine. So I'm continuing the presentation of the policy that we are asking you to consider. Parents are the primary stakeholders in providing for the welfare of their children. Nevertheless, it is paramount for parents, teachers, and school staff to be aligned with goals for our children's education. We believe this policy will, 1, provide procedures to maintain and restore trust between parents and school personnel. 2, prevent self-harm, bringing parents into the decision-making process for their children's mental health and social-emotional issues at the earliest possible time. And 3, promote communication with positive relationships with parents that support the best outcomes for students' social, emotional, and academic success. In conclusion, we want to make it clear that this proposed policy in no way implies a criticism of existing policies, district staff, or the board. In fact, we suspect that many of the proposed policies already exist in one form or another within the district. Making these policies known to parents, students, and staff demonstrates, in our opinion, that student well-being and parental involvement are priorities for this school district. As Bob Dylan wrote many years ago, the times, they are a-changin'. And because of that, we need to address these new issues. We hope that you will agree. Glendora's parents want to partner with the school board, administrators, and teachers for the education and betterment of our children. But we do want assurance from this school board through the parental notification policy that we are genuinely viewed and treated as partners, not relegated to spectators. Thank you very much and appreciate the consideration.
Mr. Barron, and then Jennifer Kennedy.
Good evening, Honorable President Reuter and board members. My name is Mike Barron, and I'm a grandparent. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. We who advocate for parental notification policy are not anti-gay, we are not anti-trans. What we are, anti-sexualization of children. The life choices of adults 18 years and older are none of our business and have nothing to do with the proposed policy. Simply, we do not want our kids unduly sexualized by an activist agenda buried under the guise of compassion. For a perfect example of this, please see the court case Conan v. Spreckles Union School District. It is enlightening and a perfect example of the harm done by a middle school keeping secrets from parents. School staff that encourages minors to keep secrets from parents is inappropriate, even when staff has nothing but compassion for the student. This secret keeping introduces the minor to the exact behavior that sexual predators use when grooming their victims, and it drives a wedge between parents and children. It also communicates that lying to parents is an acceptable behavior approved by an authority at the school who is looked up to by the child. One issue this board will need to discuss if it agrees to agendize this policy proposal will be whether or not the proposed policy is legal. We believe it is, but we know there are good people on the other side of this issue who we think are misinformed with the belief that students' privacy, those rights trump parents' rights. So do they? How fundamental are parents' rights? Are they nullifiable by a policy? We think not. The U.S. Supreme Court case, Troxel v. Granville, in the summary, it states that parental rights are, quote, perhaps the oldest of the fundamental liberty interests recognized by this court, close quote. And FERPA makes clear that student privacy rights do not include schools deceiving and hiding gender identity information from parents. In fact, schools are obligated by FERPA to be forthright with parents. The other main issue the board most certainly will have to discuss has no perfect solution, only subjective trade-offs, and that issue is outing. Whereas outing may be awkward for a student, it does not justify secrecy. In fact, 3 separate U.S. Supreme Court cases reinforce that parental rights do not evaporate because parents are not model parents. If potential violence is the issue, it is most likely an ongoing issue, and school personnel are already aware. So these issues deserve serious thought, research, adherence to the law, and not just to an FAQ. We believe you are an honorable board equal to the task. Therefore, we respectfully request that you agendize discussion of this policy at the very earliest opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. We'll have Jennifer Kennedy and then Rebecca Bishop, please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Jennifer Kennedy. I'm a local attorney. I myself am a product of the public schools here in Southern California. My kids also in a neighboring district. My focus is personal liberty and children's and parents' rights, and I'm here to support the agendizing of the policy Mr. Barron mentioned. My remarks here obviously aren't legal advice. They're my professional opinion based on facts. Here are some facts about AB 1266, the law that does not entitle or require a school to withhold information from a parent about a child's expression at school of a gender identity. There is no such law. Join me tonight on the road to truth about AB 1266. Assembly Bill 1266 went into effect in 2015. It didn't create a student privacy law. In fact, it didn't even create a standalone law. It was an amendment to Ed Code 221.5, and it was 1 paragraph long. 221.5 was created in 1998 to ensure no sex discrimination between boys and girls in classes and activities. Come on to 2013 and AB 1266 and its 1 paragraph, that's the Sports and Bathrooms Bill for transgender kids. It says that a pupil can participate in sex-segregated activities, including sports and facilities, etc., that is consistent with their gender identity, not the gender that's listed on their official records. And that's it. That's the paragraph. There is no discussion in AB 1266 about communication with parents about a child's gender identity. There is nothing about entitling or requiring deception of parents to supposedly preserve student privacy. Now, but we've all heard about that Cal Department of Ed website, the website with the FAQs that talk about AB 1266, that tell us, that say you must withhold this information from parents unless the kid says it's okay. But the suggestions and recommendations of a website typed in by some unknown person or written by some unknown group, that's not law. That is not law. The FAQs on the Cal Department of Ed website is absolutely not law. As Mr. Barron said, we have the supreme law of the land, our U.S. Constitution, which did reaffirm in Troxel v. Granville that it recognizes the fundamental right of parents to direct the care and upbringing of their children and to be involved and notified in their education. And our California Ed Code 51101 enumerates several things that a school must tell parents about, like absences, truancy, risk of failing, etc. Child transgenderism is a novel social contagion. Parents must hear about this. They are vulnerable, they are at-risk kids that we are hearing, and more than ever, these kids need their parents. Now, lawsuits? The schools that have been sued are the schools that keep secrets from parents. There is no law requiring a school to deceive parents, no law requiring lies by omission or intentional. Thank you.
We'll have Rebecca Bishop and then Lenore Craig, please.
Good evening, everyone. This school board has seen a lot of changes over the last several months, and there are some fresh faces here who I believe, and I'm praying, will bring needed perspectives. Gary, you have such good business sense, and as our former mayor, I'm grateful to see the positive influence you have brought to this board already. Additionally, I am hopeful that you will continue to represent the parents of GUSD and truly listen and respond to their concerns that were ignored for almost 3 years. Paul, you understand students and their parents and what is important to them. And I also hope that you will be a lifeline for families here in GUSD. There are many parents who know you, respect you, and need you as their anchor. In this spirit, with the parental notification policy coming to a vote soon, I'm anxious to see you all back up parents and their rights to know what their children are sharing with teachers, staff, and counselors in GUSD. We have to remember we are dealing with children who have changing hormones, changing ideas, and need guidance from adults who care about their long-term health. Thank you.
Lenore Craig and then Shauna Elias.
Good evening. I wanted to express my support for the proposed Glendora Unified District Parental Notification Policy that was read this evening. It is clear that there is a growing issue with our youth being depressed and seeking out ways.
Thank you.
Put it down to my level. Seeking out ways to fill that area in their lives. This is real, and it's a mental health issue that parents must be involved with. Parents are the ones who brought their children into this world. They reared them, they cared for them, they love them more than any of us or the state ever could. For this reason, myself, many others believe that it's important for each of you to read this policy and please put it on a future agenda to be considered. It is never right to keep secrets from parents regarding anything concerning their children. If we as a district can call home and alert a parent that their children has skinned their knee or hurt themselves, then we should be most certainly informed a parent that if their child is secretly sharing information pertaining to their gender confusion or feels suicidal. I will keep this short, and I'll share more when this is put on the agenda in a future board meeting. I ask you, as a former GUSD employee, a parent of 2 that went through the district as a grandparent, please move this to the agenda for a vote. Let the people of Glendora have a say in this important issue. Thank you.
After Mrs. Elias, we've got Jennifer Reyes.
Good evening. My name is Shauna Elias, and I'm speaking tonight regarding the recent vote taken by the Chino Valley Unified School District Board of Education to add language to their district policies specifically outlining support for parental rights. The new parental notification policy adopted in Chino reflects California Education Code 51101, which reads in part, quote, "Parents and guardians of pupils enrolled in public schools have the right and should have the opportunity as mutually supportive and respectful partners in the education of their children to be informed by the school and to participate in the education of their children," end quote. The new parental notification policy in Chino goes in depth to discuss the guidelines, but the very first paragraph sets the tone of the entire policy, so I'd like to share that first paragraph with you tonight. Quote, "The Chino Valley Unified School District Board of Education strives to foster trust between the district and parents and guardians of its students, To that end, the board supports the fundamental right of parents and guardians to direct the care and upbringing of their children, including the right to be informed of and involved in all aspects of their children's education to promote the best outcomes, end quote. It is heartening to see a neighboring district showing support for parents' rights, and I strongly encourage this board to consider this for GUSD. As someone who has been a vocal advocate for parents' rights, I would like to request that this board agendize this topic during open session at an upcoming meeting for discussion, and further request that public comment time be allocated for this specific agenda item. Glendora parents deserve to have this topic discussed and taken into consideration. Thank you.
The last comment card I have is Jennifer Reyes.
Hello. I'll keep it short and simple. I ask the board to adopt a policy to notify parents when their child chooses to identify as a gender opposite from their biological sex without the parent's knowledge. This is wrong to keep it a secret from parents. We parents have a sacrificial love for our child. We stayed up late with them with fevers. We break our busy schedules to take them to places. We help them with our homework and so on. I urge you to please adopt the transparency for parents. Another note is please take a look at all the detransitioners happening. Irreversible damage, chemically and surgically castrated, and to detransition their body will never go back to normal. If the child's parents was involved, this could have been prevented. I do believe that social media, it plays a large role in this delusion. It puts way too many ideas in their head. Social media paints a euphoric, false narrative that living life as the opposite sex is a far better lifestyle than a normal straight kind. It's dangerous to keep secrets from parents, and we can understand their issues and love on them and really understand what's going on with them. Keeping this secret can cause irreversible damage. Thank you.
Those are all of the comment cards that I have this evening, but if anybody arrived late and did not have the opportunity to fill out a comment card, I'll give you the opportunity to speak. We'll just need you to fill out a comment card. Okay, I've got two here, so if you all will just get in line. I'm sorry? Sure, yes. Okay.
My name is Jonathan Lane. You guys know me. I've been up here enough times that I really didn't want to say anything tonight. I think there's enough people in the room in here that are going to back up what I say. You've heard the room tonight that I have 3 kids, and those 3 kids mean everything to me. And for the state to come and take away our rights of knowing what's going on in their lives, the last 3 years has shown me that the state doesn't know how to do that. COVID, shutting down kids, excluding them, the mental health issues that were brought up because of it. And to say that the state did that well, we all know they didn't. It was the parents that were there for their kids. Not the state, not board members, not superintendents, not teachers, not their unions. It was parents. And for schools and districts to try and hide that from parents, it's wrong. It's unethical on so many different levels. And that's all I need to say tonight. And I hope you take that into consideration and put that on the agenda.
Hi, my name is Terry Merrick. I'm a parent too. I have 4 sons that are 35 to 40, and I have a granddaughter, grandsons. And I thought about this. I knew this was coming up, and I think this is a vexed issue. On the one hand, of course, I always wanted my kids to come to me with everything. I want my granddaughter. I had loving parents, but there were things I didn't tell them. I mean, I'm 63, I think we all know. And it has nothing to do with how much you love your kids. We all love our kids and our grandkids, but you want them to have a safe place. And when it comes to gender questioning, I taught at APU. These were adults, but I had students often come to me and tell me that they were struggling with their identity or their sexual orientation. And I would encourage them to talk to their parents. And sometimes they just need a safe place. So I guess I'm a little worried, neighbors, friends, that if all that's going to happen is if we say to kids, you can't talk to somebody, they're just not going to talk to anyone. And I guess I do trust our teachers. And so I want to be another voice. Like I said, I think this is a complicated issue. I welcome a community discussion on it. I think it's a complicated issue. And it's not about who loves their kids and who doesn't love their kids, who cares who stayed up with them at night. We've all stayed up with our kids. It's just, how can we provide safe places? Parents, grandparents, the safest. But sometimes they don't go there, so.
Thank you. That's everybody that I have for public comment. If you two would please just fill out the cards to let us know who spoke, I would really appreciate it. Is there anybody else that would like to speak this evening? Okay, then I'm going to move along. Thank you all very much for your comments. The next item on the agenda is 4.1, comments from the members of the Board of Education. And it being summer, I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to start on the left. Yeah, sorry.
Seems to have been a great summer. Summer school went well, and I just look forward to the new school year. So it's been quiet, which is good. So that's all I have.
Yeah, straight across.
I want to thank all of the parents and community members that showed up today. I think it's important to remain engaged and continue to communicate your concerns. I do want to say one thing, and I speak for myself, but I think as a board as a whole, maybe I will take the chance to say that student privacy and safety is our #1 priority, and it will always be our #1 priority. Wherever that may lead, I don't know, but it's something that I feel very passionate about, and it's something that we will, whenever we look at anything that happens in this district, it's always going to be with that lens, their safety and their privacy, because it is extremely important. I hope everybody continues to enjoy the last few weeks of summer and try to stay cool, because it's going to be hot, but you already know that. So.
Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening and expressing your opinions on any matter. We welcome, and our staff actually gave us a small telephone book of information regarding policies and a lot of research, as many had suggested here tonight, needs to be done and needs to be looked into. But I appreciate the opinions that were shared this evening, and I promise you we're already talking about this in closed session, and the conversation will continue. I hope everybody can enjoy the rest of their summer. It does seem to be flying by. I hope that teachers are taking a break. I know this is when they start showing back up in their classrooms and getting everything ready, but I do hope that everybody takes the time to enjoy their families in these last couple of weeks. Thank you all very much for coming this evening.
Thank you, Madam President. What a great summer it's been. I'm really excited about the workshop that we had, the open session workshop, the engagement of our employees, both teachers and all the employees at this district, the care in which they perform their job, and the way they're preparing this summer for the school year. I mean, it's awesome. I really appreciate it, and I don't think that we evangelize and vocalize that enough when everybody's out in summer. Our entire cabinet and staff are working to prepare for next year, and I appreciate that. You know, I take copious notes, as my peer to my right would attest to, and I do have a definite opinion. I I don't equate, I also teach at APU and at Los Angeles Pacific University. I don't equate those conversations anywhere close to one that I would have with an adolescent versus an adult when they're deciding what they want to do. And I applaud those conversations, and I have them myself. But, you know, I'm one person on this board that speaks for one person. I have no trouble at any point in time asking for a second for an agendized item for parents' rights or advocating for that. I absolutely want everyone in this room and that's listening to me to know that I really strongly support local government. I strongly support this board, the city of Glendora, the governance that we do. I support that at this level strongly. I strongly support parental rights. I recognize the constitutional rights of parents. I have that indicia under my belt too. I am a parent, and I get to be even blessed to be a grandparent. I feel that way about both of those jobs, and I really feel that that this district has done a good job of being collaborative and inclusive in the educational journey, and I don't want to change that at all. So, for as we talk about this issue, I'm willing to agendize that item. I'm willing to listen to anybody that wants to give us feedback. I mean, again, I took copious notes tonight. I really think that parental notification and the rights of parents is paramount to me personally. It's paramount to me as people raise children, and if someone was having a discussion with my child or my grandchild about any of the topics that were brought up tonight, without my inclusiveness, I would absolutely have a governance issue with it and a personal issue with it. So I just wanted to be clear with my peers and with anyone that's listening. I will listen to all of the ideas, pro and con, on both sides, meaning that there could be pros on both sides. But I definitely, based on my research, based on the telephone book that I received, but based on knowing that I was going to be prepared tonight to at least say how I feel, I don't want our teachers or our employees to be confused at all. When someone comes to them and asks for help, I want us to respond. And if that help has things to do that involve familial rights, parents' rights, I want the parents to be involved too, and I want it to be collaborative, and I want it to be helpful. I think that incorporates all my notes, but I really support parents in this journey. I'm in this seat because of parents. I'm not in this seat because of anybody else, and I want parents to know on both sides of the fence that I support what they want to do, but I clearly, in this dichotomized opinion room, would err on the side of parents knowing exactly what's going on with their children when they're not in their care. And I hope that's clear to everybody on the board and clear to the people that are in this room tonight. From this one person.
Thank you.
One of 5. I don't have anything else.
Thank you. Mrs. Murphy?
Well, I am not going to address this topic tonight because I am still trying to figure out exactly where I am. I feel like I see both sides and I struggle with it. But I am open and I am still willing to learn before I make a decision for this. Anyway, I'm excited about this summer. It's been great, and I am looking forward to the rest of summer and looking forward to my favorite day of the year, almost is convocation. First day when everyone comes back. It's so exciting, so I'm looking forward to that.
I know.
I received a note that Mrs. Garcia has one more item that she'd like to discuss.
Sorry, guys, I failed to finish my thoughts. I was making notes as I was listening to our community members speak, and one of the things I did not hear was a question, curiosity. Hey, GUSD, what are you doing to protect our rights? What are you doing to make sure that our parents, that we as parents have rights, that our students are being protected? And I feel like That's important. It's important to also know exactly what things are in place to protect our parental rights. And no one asked that question. So I'm going to ask that question. And I think you don't have to answer today, but I think it's extremely important. I'm big on educating our community. I'm big on making sure we are transparent and that we have that information readily accessible. Not somewhere hiding under someone's desk and we can't get a hold of it, but that it is easily accessible. So I'm gonna ask Dr. DeGrazia to please, maybe in the near future, put together some type of informational piece that answers some of these concerns our parents have, because I know that we have things in place that both address our parental concerns, but more importantly, are keeping our students safe and giving them a place to seek resources for whatever concerns, questions, doubts, any mental health issue they're having. We as a district, as a school, as a teacher in the classroom, I have 3 kids. I'm coming as a parent to you. I'm not coming as a board member, although I am up here. You know, we all love our kids. We all want our kids to be safe, and I want my kids to come to me with their concerns, but that's also a place that I have to develop at home. I have to make it a safe place for them to come to me. And there are kids who do not have that at home. So these policies need to protect them as well. And I am going to speak up about that because, you know, if you keep a safe place at home, your kid will come to you. You will know what's going on in your kid's home. You have access to their phone, their bedroom, their conversations, you talk to them over dinner, you go to church together, whatever it is, however you build community with your children, they will come to you. You will pick up on these issues that they're having. There are kids who do not have that at home, and we need to protect them. We need to keep them safe. And I just wanted to make sure that we knew that. I want to make sure that Dr. DeGrazia put something together so that our parents know before we even consider looking at a policy, let's find out what we do have in place. What do we already do? And if the things that we do are not sufficient, if they're lacking, if they're not addressing your concerns, then we can take a look at creating something new. I have an issue with this parental notification policy. And I know it's an unpopular thing to say in this room right now. But my concern is that as Glendorans, we claim that we're different, that we're special, that we want local control, right? This wasn't created by a Glendoran, okay? This came from a higher organization that is trying to bring this into districts. So this isn't something that we created locally, guys. I hate to break it to you. This is not Glendora. I'm speaking. This is Glendora. This is not Glendora. So I think it's important that when we do create a policy, that it is something that we create together, not something that we printed online. We are not Chino. We are not Temecula. We are Glendora, and it's important that we create a policy that serves our community, all of our community. So that's all I'm going to say for today. Thank you.
Anybody else? Then I'm going to move right along to the superintendent's report. Thank you, Dr. DeGrazia.
Thank you, President Reuter, members of the board, distinguished guests. We have had a very busy summer preparing for the 23-24 school year. We anticipate this to be our best school year yet. We built great momentum last year, and we will continue that this year. Our summer program was not known as summer school this year. It was known as the Summer Acceleration Program, which included assemblies, language opportunities, science, technology, art, math, additional enrichment opportunities, and students wanted to be there. So we commend the elementary team and students and staff and our 2 principals that headed up Sellers and Cullen especially, and all of the work that was done at Glendora High School with middle school and high school students to prepare and motivate them to have a great 23-24 school year. Well, we are also thankful at this time, especially in this heat, to our custodian and our maintenance teams across the district as they work to maintain and enhance and beautify our campuses, get all those summer projects done. They're busily finishing those. We had, as Mr. Clifford mentioned, a very productive board workshop. That was our 2nd board workshop in the last several months. And we held that on July 11th, focused on district goals and our strategic plan. I also recently, in the past couple of weeks, participated in Assemblywoman Rubio's education roundtable with the select group of superintendents from the region, discuss needs, concerns, and their support locally and statewide going forward. We are very excited to welcome new staff across the district, not only the two that were mentioned earlier, but a number of classified and certificated staff that we've added to the GUS team and to enhance our team for the coming year. We're excited about the new year, as I said. Wednesday, just a reminder, I know the kids are eagerly anticipating this date. Wednesday, August 16th will be the first day of school, so it'll come pretty quick. Glendora High School Pipe Band is the only public high school band that has been invited to participate in the World Pipe Band Championships in Scotland. Yes? Yes, only public high school band in the United States that was invited. They were actually invited in 2020. Unfortunately, the pipe band, about 30 members strong, could not attend that year, unfortunately. This is the year for all the bands preceding them and that will follow them to represent this community, and they'll represent us very well. They'll be there about 10 or 11 days, August 9th through the 20th. Their final performance is this Sunday at Finkbeiner, as they are one of the highlights of this year's Concert in the Park series. So come out, see them, support them, wish them well. We wish them well and safe travels. They'll have an outstanding educational journey. They'll represent our school, our district, our community. We can go to the state and the nation because they're the only school around here represented. You can see the information on the website about them and about their journeys. Another journey that we are excited that's returning is our MOCA exchange program, our sister school program with MOCA Japan, yes. So in October, this will be the first time in 4, maybe 5 years that they've joined us. This coming October 2023, Nakamura Junior High will send approximately 30 students to Sandburg, and Sandburg students will host them, and their parents will host them at their homes. And then Moka Higashi Junior High School, Goddard's sister school, at the same time will send their students. In July of 2024, the end of this school year, we will send our students, will then go to Japan, and Japan will reciprocate the host experience. So when you see them in and around town, please welcome these students. Good chance you're going to run into them. A wonderful program, many years success. It's over 30 years strong, 35 years for sister cities with Glendora and Mocha sister city arrangement, and they'll be celebrating the 35th anniversary in October as well. And we want to congratulate the entire district, the Glendora Unified School District, all the way through students, staff, and community. Glendora Unified was selected as the best, and there was only one that was selected as the best. Best public school district in the San Gabriel Valley by the San Gabriel Valley Tribune News Network. That was recent, just a few weeks ago. That honor is a recognition of the hard work and sustained efforts of our students, staff, our parents, families, and community. It's a distinguished honor, and we celebrate it today and every day for this year because it's for 2023. So we will get every day out of that for sure. So congratulations to the district, and again, a distinct honor, and thank you for your time.
I'll just add that I think at the Sunday concert in the park,
Yes.
there are some fundraising opportunities for our pipe band to help them financially in their endeavor towards Scotland. So
Most definitely.
if you find it in your heart or your pocket to help support our students in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them, I would really encourage you to go and enjoy the music and help them out on Sunday evening. Okay, we're going to move along to our discussion action items at this time. Item 5.1, receive the second reading of Board Policy, Administrative Regulation, and Exhibit 6163.4, Student Use of Technology, and adopt the proposed revisions. May I have a motion? Does anybody have any questions? Would we like Mrs. Espino to come up and give a little bit of information on this one, or is everybody feeling pretty good at this point? Okay, great. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item Exhibit 6163.4, student use of technology, has been adopted. Item 5.2, receive the second reading of Board Bylaw 9270, conflict of interest, and adopt the proposed revisions. May I have a motion? Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the conflict of interest? No. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Recommend the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2324-01 in regards to school safety. May I have a motion? Okay, I'm not positive what the appropriate order of events are here, but since this is a new, this isn't a second reading, this is the first reading, what I'd like to do is, do I read it after we adopt it or before? Yeah, just to give everybody in the community the opportunity to understand what we're adopting here. Right, no need for a second reading. I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about here. So Glendora Unified School District Resolution number 2324-01, school safety. Whereas our public schools are charged not only with supporting student achievement, but also providing a foundation for mental and physical health, personal growth, and civic engagement. And whereas student safety is a prerequisite for consistently high levels of academic and social development. And whereas violence and harassment can not only alienate students from their peers and their environment, thereby impeding learning, but also cause injuries and fatalities. And whereas violence on school campuses, while relatively rare, represents a particularly egregious and unacceptable threat to the lives of students, teachers, and staff across the country. And whereas firearms recently became the #1 cause of death for children and teens in the United States, surpassing motor vehicle deaths and those caused by other injuries. And whereas exposure to trauma can adversely affect a child's health for the rest of their life. And whereas Glendora USD, GUSD, supports the right of students and staff to attend schools that are safe and free from violence and harassment. And whereas all students, regardless of background, deserve access to services that support and enhance their physical, mental, and emotional health. And whereas safe schools provide an environment where teaching and learning can flourish, disruptions are minimized, violence, bullying, and fear are absent, students are not discriminated against, expectations for behavior are clearly communicated, and standards of behavior are maintained, and consequences for infractions are consistently and fairly applied. And whereas the most effective approach to creating safe school environments is a comprehensive, coordinated effort including school-wide, district-wide, and community-wide strategies, supplemented with legislation, resources, and support at the state and federal legislation levels. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Governing Board of GUSD has completed and holds regular drills as prescribed in both school site and district emergency plans, and that said plans involve all district personnel, law enforcement, fire and medical rescue personnel, emergency management personnel, and others essential to preventing, mitigating, or resolving any potential crisis. Be it further resolved that GUSD reviews its school site discipline rules and procedures to ensure they are appropriately enforced, and that student handbooks explaining codes of conduct, unacceptable behavior, and disciplinary consequences are provided to all students, parents, and caregivers. Be it further resolved that the board directs the superintendent and staff to update the student handbook to include information about parents' legal duties to safely store firearms, per AB 452. Be it further resolved that GUSD will continue to work with a broad spectrum of local community stakeholders, local law enforcement, mental health professionals, parents, students, teachers, and staff to take any threats of violence seriously, and to develop, implement, and monitor policies and programs that foster and support a positive school climate free from harassment and violence. Be it further resolved that GUSD urges the state of California and the United States Congress to invest in wraparound services to prevent bullying, harassment, discrimination, and violence in our schools, and to provide funding for programs and staff such as counselors, nurses, and psychologists that support students' mental, physical, and emotional health. Be it further resolved that GUSD urges the state of California and the United States Congress to implement common sense measures that prioritize student safety and environments where all students have the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. That's a lot to read at one time. Do any of my colleagues have any comments, questions, or anything that they'd like to say? Okay, all right, I've got both here. Go ahead. Okay.
I have nothing.
Oh, I thought you were leaning in.
Safety's important to me.
Okay.
Waiting to vote.
All right, Mrs. Garcia.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank the board for supporting this resolution. This is an example of creating a policy locally and discussing it. The original draft of this was not fully supported by the entire board, and we talked about it, and we make amendments, and we took a look at the language. At the end of the day, the interest was the safety of our schools and our students, our teachers, our staff, everyone. So we came to a consensus, which is very important, right? It's important that we do that, and this is an example of that. You know, as I presented it, it wasn't approved. We talked about it. We made some modifications. I'm happy with the result. I'm happy that we can have something that our teachers, parents, students can hold us accountable to. They can tell us like, hey, you promised you would keep us safe. You promised you would do these things. You said you would do these things. And here's a document that you guys can use and say, this is board policy, and we expect you to do these things. And so to me, that's important. It's transparency. It's communicating to our community what we as a board are doing, what's important. And thank you guys for your support, and that's all.
With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We adopt the resolution number 2324-01 in regards to school safety. Number 5.4, recommend the Board of Education adopt the California Schools Healthy Air Plumbing and Efficiency Program Grant Agreement, Resolution 23-24-02 as presented. May I have a motion? Mrs. Vicar, when we approve this resolution, how much money will we get for this grant?
We're going to get $480,789.95.
And what will we be sort of directing that towards?
The majority of this money here will be directed towards, thank you, will be directed towards plumbing fixtures, in particular at our schools.
Okay.
So that will be replacing toilets and also replacing faucets that are outdated and need to be updated.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Recommend the Board of Education adopt resolution number 23-24-03, approving assignment of delinquent tax receivables to the California Statewide Delinquent Tax Finance Authority and authorizing execution and delivery of related documents and actions. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Are there any questions? This all sounded really good to me when I read it. I know we get money. Okay then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 5.6, recommendation, the Board of Education adopt resolution number 23-24-04, authorization for cash transfers between funds for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. May I have a motion? Does anybody have any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.7, recommendation the Board of Education adopt resolution number 23-24-05, authorization for cash transfers between funds for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. May I have a motion? Second? Okay. All those in favor? Oh, sorry, any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we now move on to our consent items. Consent items may, the Board of Education may consider agenda consent items as a whole or as individual divisions. Any item may be removed by a member of the board for discussion and possible action. Would anybody like to pull any consent items out for discussion?
I just have a question about 8.7.
Okay, so we'll pull out 8.7. Is,
I'll make a motion for 7-1 through 10-2, stay 8-7. 8-2.
It's at 7.
No, 8-7.
You said it right?
Second.
Yes. Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motions 7-1 through 10-2 stay 8-7 pass. Item 8.7, approve/ratify the renewal of service agreement with Care Solace Incorporated for mental health services as presented. May I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Garcia.
I was reading that we are extending our contract with our renewal, but only till December. So I was wondering, this is something that we had discussed that you were gonna do away with because we had now the virtual, the other one that's free. And which I'm very happy with Care Solace. I wanted it to stay, so I'm happy to see that it's staying through December, but wondering why just till December? Who can help?
Yeah, I can speak to that, and Dr. Prince, if you have anything else to add, please do. We did see an uptick in the Care Solace use, and it can be utilized for students and staff, which is a nice offering for those that may be in need for a connection to a mental health service or provider that they can expedite through their team. So we saw an uptick in the use towards the end of the year. We want to see if that continued uptick in use continues for the first half of this year. We did not see it for the majority of last year until really a small uptick in use towards the end. So if we see a continued use and consistent use, then we can reconsider it prior to December for consideration to extend for the entire school year.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and that was gonna be my next question. Would you consider, if it's being used, if utilized, of course, so thank you for that.
Any additional questions or comments on that item? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Consent, that item has passed. May I please have a motion to adjourn in the memory of a very beloved staff member, Carmen Munoz? And I don't know if Dr. DeGrazia, after I get the motion and the second, if you might be able to say a few words about Carmen for us. Okay, may I please have a motion in memory of Carmen Munoz, please? Thank you. Okay.
Carmen unexpectedly passed away recently due to some medical causes, of course. Unfortunately, she had only worked for us for just a little bit of time in the last couple of years, but she was an active member of Glendora High School's campus. She was a friendly face and always welcoming to students and staff and all that she served prior to working in a permanent capacity as the attendance clerk, and that's a key position at Glendora High School and connects a lot with students and parents. She was an active substitute across the district at many sites. She was very active in the PTA and as a parent. Through her sites. She has students that currently attend Sutherland and Glendora High School. So our thoughts and prayers are with her family at this most difficult time, and we certainly would like to close this meeting in her memory. Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. We adjourn this meeting at 8:10 p.m.